This is Valley View News.
The president appropriates funds for Los Angeles after calling it one of the poorest cities in the nation. Research shows people may be having a hard time hanging up their cell phones. It seems the world of sneakers is growing and more people are becoming shoe collectors.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Rufer.
And I'm Straman Awesome. Welcome to Valley View News. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti is reminding people to prepare for food, water, and a plan after a quake hits the Southland. The 4.4 magnitude earthquake shook a 5-mile radius 2 miles south of Encino at 6:25 in the morning. Shaking was felt throughout much of the greater Los Angeles area. No injuries or damage were reported. Aftershocks followed the initial quake, including a 2.7 trembler about 45 minutes later. The quake was first reported as a 4.7 magnitude, but was later downgraded.
The quake came just in time for St. Patrick's Day. It rattled residents from the San Fernando Valley to Long Beach. The quake's magnitude was 4.4 at a depth of 5 miles. It was centered in Encino. Some CSUN students say the morning jolt woke them up.
It definitely made me more aware. I could tell, with the weather and just being inconsistent. My mom always told me when it gets hot that an earthquake's gonna happen.
When I got up, I kind of thought about, let's change how I have stuff on my shelves, because just in case something would fall and land on me.
I always keep a first aid kit literally in my house right by my door in case anything happens. So if I need to rush out, I could just grab that.
Immediate reaction was to get off the bed just in case anything happened, but maybe just for next time, keep my room cleaner. I just have a lot of stuff and it was kind of hard to get out.
The earthquake is a reminder that LA residents must be prepared. Some safety tips: make sure to know your surroundings. Have plenty of canned food, supplies, and bottled water. Keep a flashlight and batteries handy, and don't forget to have food for your pets as well.
President Obama and the European Union have authorized economic sanctions against dozens of key leaders in Russia. The measures are in response to Russia's military moves in Ukraine.
The international community will continue to stand together to oppose any violations of Ukrainian sovereignty and territorial integrity. And continued Russian military intervention in Ukraine will only deepen Russia's diplomatic isolation and exact a greater toll on the Russian economy.
The U.S. list includes Russian President Vladimir Putin and ex-Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. Ukraine's interim president says he is willing to hold talks with Russia, but he will not accept the annexation of Crimea.
The White House has announced a new anti-poverty program called the Promise Zone. Los Angeles is one of the cities where the program hopes to create opportunities. Valley View's Carlos Herrera has the details.
The city of Los Angeles has been designated as a Promise Zone by President Obama. The designation comes after Los Angeles was named one of the poorest cities in the country. It means more than $500 million in federal funds will be designated to fight poverty, and it gives the city preferential status for federal grants. Mayor Eric Garcetti says Los Angeles is one of 5 cities in the country to receive the Promise Zone status. LA's Promise Zone stretches through the Westlake, Koreatown, Pico Union, East Hollywood, and Hollywood districts. Youth Policy Institute is a national nonprofit organization that targets poverty, and it is the city's lead partner in the program.
It's providing, financial and other supportive resources to this community that's been neglected, and being able to achieve support that's needed through these federal programs.
Students in disadvantaged neighborhoods are the main target for this 10-year program that aims to improve education.
If, the promised neighborhood from cradle to college and career, offering those kind of services to the community is unlike any other communities.
Officials say public transportation, affordable housing, and safety are also part of the White House's plan in this federal program.
I think we're very lucky to be chosen with this. I think we should have been chosen. Just because we are one of the largest cities, therefore we should receive the most amount of help.
City officials say the Promise Zone designation is for 10 years, and it will include a tax credit for businesses that invest in Promise Zone areas. They also say it'll take approximately 6 months for organizations like YPI to have access to federal funds. Reporting from Hollywood, I'm Carlos Herrera, Valley View News.
As technology develops, it seems like the smartphone is becoming a tool of necessity. But are we becoming addicted to our cell phones? Alex Molojkovic reports.
Do you think you can go a day without using your cell phone?
Sadly, no.
No, not at all.
Honestly, probably not. I would say no.
Statistics show teens and young adults spend an average of almost 4 hours on their mobile phones every day. Sending text messages, checking every social media outlet, and even stopping to snap a couple selfies is all keeping people focused on what's going on in their hands and not what's happening around them. Some college students feel their dependency to their phones is reaching critical stages.
I'm just addicted to it, and it sucks because I can't let go. It's just built in me to just hang on to my phone.
I would say I am, because I can't see myself going like a day without it, and it's like just comforting to have it.
CSUN psychology professor Abraham Rutchick recommends ways to start using the phone less and how to motivate others to do so as well.
You've probably heard of the cell phone stack game where you go to dinner, right? Everyone goes to dinner and they all agree, everyone puts it down, and whoever reaches for that phone and takes it pays for dinner. That's a pretty good financial incentive to not check the phone. The other thing to do, of course, is to turn off any notifications. Anytime you can turn off notifications, turn off the things that chime and beep and alert, that's better. Because I think the problem is not just the phone and going to the phone, but really the sense of constant connectedness, that it can interrupt anything else you're doing to let you know that there's a group on a salad bar down the road or something like that.
A Time magazine study shows 1 in 4 people check their phone every half an hour, while 1 in 5 people check their phone every 10 minutes.
Aside from the physical dangers of looking down at your phone while walking or driving, experts say continuously staring at your phone's screen could lead to severe blurred vision and eventually cataracts. And a good way to avoid this is just by turning off your phone a little bit longer each day.
Cell phones now give us the power to search, call, and talk to whomever we want whenever we want to, but not letting them distract us from our lives is proving to be more and more difficult. And after all, they're just cell phones. In Northridge, I'm Alex Milojkovic, Valley View News.
Los Angeles drivers can now rent eco-friendly cars. The green car rental evolved from California Car Rental after its owner saw potential in offering green cars only. Some of the car rentals include the Toyota Prius, Chevy Volt, the Volkswagen Clean Diesel models, and the Tesla Model S.
The San Diego Zoo Safari Park is welcoming a new baby gorilla. The newborn was delivered through a C-section, a procedure rarely used on gorillas. The little gorilla mother is an 18-year-old gorilla named Imani. The baby suffers from some complications and is under intensive care. It is the 17th gorilla born at the park.
Health experts recommend women take a human papillomavirus examination when testing for cancer. The HPV Roche test detects 2 types of the virus that causes cervical cancer. The Pap smear has been the standard for detecting the cancer, but experts say it won't be necessary if HPV isn't found in the Roche test. The federal government has not placed the recommendation in any general practice guidelines.
The CVS pharmacy is under investigation for losing track of 37,000 prescription pills in Northern California. The pills are thought to be painkillers and are missing in 4 cities. The Drug Enforcement Administration suspects drug dealers may have the pills and are trying to sell them on the black market. Authorities said their investigation began last year. Violations carry a maximum of $29 million in fines. CVS said in a statement that it's cooperating with the DEA to determine the reason for what they call the discrepancies in their pharmacies.
U.S. Navy commandos have seized control of a hijacked oil tanker from Libyan rebels. The ship called Morning Glory is operated by a company based in Egypt. Libyan rebels wanted to sell the oil on the black market. No one was hurt in the commando operation, and the military is delivering the tanker to another Libyan port.
President Obama has issued an executive order that allows undocumented young people to work in the U.S. Valley View's Ruby Martinez attended a workshop on the program and has the report.
President Obama signed a Deferred Action for Child Arrivals, also known as DACA, an executive order, giving the Dreamers, as they call themselves, protection from being deported and allowing them to work legally for a 2-year period.
Well, I actually feel really great. You know, it opens up a lot of opportunities, a lot of jobs, a little bit extra push, the motivation to go to college.
Approximately 350,000 Californians are eligible for DACA, but only 150,000 of those Californians have applied. The city of Los Angeles, along with many nonprofit organizations, attorneys, and the office of Mayor Eric Garcetti have come together to offer a free workshop.
Now, the application has been available for more than a year, but some have not applied because of the lack of resources.
They've created one of the first loan programs for Dreamers. The loan is only for $465, the exact fee for the application. Luis Velasquez says the individual just needs a form of identification and proof of income in order to apply.
We don't concentrate on credit, bad credit, no credit. We're not worried about that. We just want to make sure that we try to get as many people approved.
Those supporters say DACA beneficiaries may help the weak economy more than they would without any legal way to work.
And here, if we can't incorporate those folks into the mainstream, we all lose, you know? We have less taxes, fewer scholarships, worse jobs. But when we incorporate people into the mainstream, folks who are willing to play by the rules, who are willing to fill out the forms, pay the fees, that means more taxes for us. That means people are getting better educated. It's great for all of us.
Those with DACA status can soon apply for a renewal application. In Venice, I'm Ruby Martinez, Valley View News.
The National Football League is proposing to penalize players for using the N-word on the field. Our Rebecca Moore sat down with Pan-African Studies professor Cedric Hackett and discussed the word's significance. This is a discussion about the N-word, and it would be hard to fully discuss the topic without using the word, so we warn those of you in our audience that the racial slur will be used in this story.
Today I'm sitting down with Professor Cedric Hackett, and we're going to be talking about the NFL's potential ban of the use of the N-word. Why do you think now? Why are they trying to ban the N-word now?
The incident in Philadelphia, which one receiver was captured on tape for using that racial epithet, that they want to do something to try to minimize and really focus on the game of football.
And so football player Richard Sherman said, "Banning the N-word is an atrocious idea. It's almost racist to me. Why wouldn't all curse words be banned?" Why do you think players like Richard Sherman are opposing the ban?
I think, Richard coming from Compton and hearing that word quite often and using that word quite often, to describe friends, or, the term is almost used could have so many different meanings, in terms of how it's, the voice intonation describes it, like, nigga, 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 those kind of things. Oh, what's up, nigga? Those kind of things could be construed as a term of endearment.
70% of the NFL is made up of African American men. Why can't they police the word themselves? Why do you think it's such a problem for them to just kind of stop using it?
African Americans, and men in particular, have done is that they've taken this term that was traditionally used to dehumanize, and they reappropriated to a positive term, and so they changed the vernacular. So it went from nigger to nigga. That's been a survival mechanism for African Americans throughout this period, 20th and 21st century.
So I know that you coach a youth football team as well as I think a junior college football team. So are you seeing the word being thrown around at practice while you're coaching, and how do you handle that?
I'm an athletic counselor for a community college, but for a community college athletic department. And they use that term all the time. They use it in hallways, they use it on the field. It's something that's not going away. And what I try to do is try to get them to recognize how it's sounding in front of a group, how they sound, themselves.
Last question is, do you think that other sports will follow in the NFL's kind of pattern and start policing various words and slurs and things of that nature?
I think so. I think the NFL is like one of the big organizations that we all watch, and I think other teams and other units like baseball and basketball will start to use that term.
So that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for sitting down with me. I really appreciate it.
Coming up, we'll tell you who the Matadors women's basketball key players are, and CSUN students tell us what they think of March Madness.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine. What does that just do? Select the drop-down menu again. Continue to site. You're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God!
I really can't believe it. That's awesome. Good for you.
So Sarah, do you have any predictions for March Madness?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Wichita State. They're undefeated. I think they're going to do great in the tournament.
Actually, I had my eye on Arizona.
Well, we can't all win. The 2014 March Madness brackets have been released. We finally know who's in and who's out. The surprises begin right at the top of the brackets, where Virginia sits as the #1 seed. Last year's national champion, Louisville, was seeded 4th in the Midwest. The Midwest region also includes Wichita and Michigan State, which are competing for one spot. The tournament starts off with the top 64 teams. It begins with a pair of first 4 games in each of the brackets. The winners of those games will advance to the top 32 teams. Then it's down to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and the Final 4. The tournament ends with the final dance between the last 2 teams. Arizona is at the top in the West despite its loss to UCLA in the Pac-12 final. SMU is not in the bracket, surprising many CSUN students, though most expected that Florida would earn the top overall seed since they're #1 in the South.
The overall bracket is not what I thought it'd be. I made my own bracket and it looks nothing like it. But it's a good bracket, should be a good tournament. Not your like typical Duke or Louisville kind of teams. Smaller time Florida is a little surprising as well, even though they're overall #1. But it's like yes and no. It's like midway, not a total shocker, but not what everybody expected.
My fantasy pick is Virginia.
The owner of the Colts, Jim Irsay, faces 4 felony counts. He was arrested on suspicion of driving while intoxicated and possession of controlled substances. Police say his bail was set to more than $22,000. Officials also say that pills were found in various prescription bottles. Irsay tweeted that he does not drink and hasn't for over 15 years. In 2002, he admitted to being dependent on painkillers after many orthopedic surgeries. He said he had overcome the problem after treatment. He will be subject to league discipline under the NFL's personal conduct policy. The CSUN women's basketball team has made history, winning the Big West tournament for the first time ever. That gave them a seat in the NCAA tournament. This will be the second time in 15 years that the women's basketball team went to the tournament. Valley View reporter Mahina Haina has more on the story.
This year's women's basketball team is grinding away at practice. They are working hard to reach their goals. Junior guard Ashley Guay says they still have work to do.
Right now, obviously, we're going into practice every day with the right mindset to have a really good practice, because in order to play well, you have to prepare well, so that's what we're doing every day. It's work hard in practice.
At practice, the team works on being strong on defense, driving to the basket, and dribbling through defenders. Head coach Jason Flowers instills a family environment and stresses a selfless team attitude, which contributes to the team's overall success. Free says there are many philosophies her team lives by, but one stands out in particular.
It's mainly just about caring for the other person more than you care about yourself. So there's no room for selfishness in this program. So that's what he's instilled in us from day one, and it's really starting to come through.
4 members of the team have already been recognized for their accomplishments this season. Center Camille Malkanek made the 8th spot for the highest career rebounds with 565. Junior guard Cinnamon Lister has led the team 13 times in scoring, while Janae Sharp made the Big West Player of the Week twice this season. Guay is one of the 4 women recognized, setting a new program career record with 345 assists and counting. Guay says although her team had a rough start to their season, she had faith in their abilities from the start and knows they will finish strong.
I think all of us had faith in our team that we would turn it around, and as long as we listened to the coaches and applied what we were supposed to do, that we could get to this point, and which we did.
At the Matadome, I'm Mahina Haina for Valley View News.
From Chuck Taylor to Kevin Durant, sneakers have been more than a functional shoe. They have become a fashion statement. Valley View reporter Evan Robinson joins us from the newsroom with the story.
Since the 1980s, sneakers have become a symbol of status, skill, and fashion. So many people wanted to be like Mike, Spike Lee, and the Fresh Prince.
What's the cornerstone in your wardrobe? It's the shoes.
Derek Dow is a firm believer in a shoe can make or break an outfit. He is a student filmmaker making a short documentary about sneaker culture called Beyond the Soul.
The most interesting thing I learned about sneaker culture from some of the people that I interviewed is that it is multicultural.
It's like a small little community. You know, you talk to, I was just talking to one of my friends the other day, and, you know, we can talk for hours about Jordans, look them up online and stuff. It's just like a little small community.
Yeah, I think Jordans especially, and just the whole thing Nike has done, just bringing people together, forming a whole different world in the sneaker game.
Sneakerheads.
A sneakerhead is a person who collects limited, rare, original, or exclusive shoes. Derek has over 150 sneakers in his collection, like these LeBron James Special Edition Christmas shoes and these limited edition Statue of Liberty sneakers.
I mean, I love them. You know, I mean, you got the lion everywhere. You know.
The Air Jordan line is said to be the kickoff point of infatuation with sneakers. Collector Derek Dow says it's becoming a business.
Oh, yeah.
Within 5 minutes of me buying it, I can put it online and make $300, $400, $500.
Whether it's playing basketball, nostalgia, or a collector's item, sneakerheads love consignment shops.
A consignment store is people bring in shoes here, and they bring in shoes on a daily basis, and we sell it here for the resale value, which is $85.
I think it gives you more of a selection, like so you don't have to like get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. For certain shoes, I think it's definitely a good idea.
These type of Jordans are more exclusive, so I'm looking for a variety.
Being a sneakerhead is not just for guys. Ladies get in on the action too.
You don't have to be a baller, you don't have to be a boy, you can be a girl and rock some sneakers.
I love what this is. This is our comic books. These are our briefcases. These are our fancy suits.
Being a sneakerhead is more than the shoes. It's a lifestyle. Whether they're Nike, Reebok, Adidas, or Saucony's, looks like sneakers won't be going away for a long time. Back to you in the studio.
A firearm expert has testified in the Pistorius murder trial. Sean Renz, manager of International Training Academy, says he has had many conversations about firearms with Pistorius. He also says the South African amputee runner has a great love for guns. Pistorius is accused of killing his girlfriend, Reva Steinkamp. He says he killed her by accident. Renz also testified, saying that Pistorius told him about a time when he heard a noise in his house and drew his gun. The noise turned out to be a laundry machine. Renz also listed 5 other guns that Pistorius planned on owning in the future. Now back to you guys.
Thank you, Sarah. Coming up, we have Eddie Najarro with a recap on the South by Southwest Music Festival.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Let's switch to Energy Star light bulbs and stop burning through cash. Saving energy saves you money.
So Eddie, did you get a chance to check out what happened at the South by Southwest Festival?
I sure did. I'm a huge music fan and movie lover. Performers such as Lady Gaga, Kanye West, and Jay-Z were some of the acts at South by Southwest. The event is a yearly music, film, and tech festival in Austin, Texas. The festival celebrates new and old media created by both popular and unknown artists. The most popular performance was the Jay-Z and Kanye West concert. They performed for 2 hours and played songs from their Watch the Throne album. New technology on display included solar-powered clothing that can recharge a phone in 2 hours. There was also a film about rock legend Jimi Hendrix starring Andre 3000. The film was written and directed by John Ridley, who won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. There was also a tragedy at South by Southwest. A major car accident killed 3 people. A motorist tried to avoid a sobriety checkpoint and crashed into a police barricade. He then hit people who were waiting outside of a nightclub and then went on for several city blocks. The driver is being charged with capital murder in addition to 3 deaths. Nearly 24 people were injured. In another incident, rapper Tyler, the Creator, was arrested at the Austin airport. He is being charged with a misdemeanor of inciting a riot during his performance. The disturbance began after Tyler encouraged fans waiting in line to forcibly enter the performance area. It was reported that a bartender saved a woman from being trampled. The Austin Police Department released Tyler on a $25,000 bond. Miley Cyrus is facing a lawsuit over construction of an elaborate stage prop. Crew member Charles Cyrus is filing suit after claiming he injured himself during construction of what's being called the sliding tongue entrance. Cyrus is seeking unspecified damages for his injury. Cyrus uses Twitter a great deal but has not mentioned anything about the lawsuit. Another singer facing legal problems is Chris Brown. He was recently kicked out of his court-ordered rehab program and returned to jail without bail. A judge ordered Brown to be arrested for violating rules and regulations of his treatment. He was being treated for anger management, substance abuse, and bipolar disorder. Oprah Winfrey is selling Harpo's studio for nearly $32 million. There was a lot of bids for the lot, but Sterling Bay Company had the highest offer. Sterling Bay is a Chicago-based real estate and development company. Winfrey arrived at the studio in 1990 and filmed The Oprah Winfrey Show until 2011. The deal made with Sterling Bay allows Winfrey's production company to continue working out of the space for at least 2 more years. Sterling Bay is known for owning buildings that are home to Google and Sara Lee. The Egyptian Theater held the LA Turkish Film Festival, showcasing films from various directors. Reporter Hannah Townsley has more.
Lights, camera, action. That is what brought out many producers, actors, and fans to the 3rd annual LA Turkish Film Festival. Lara Karshmala was a volunteer and a supporter.
It's a good thing to have something like this, you know, it's something that's from your home and it feels good. I really like it, and it just gives the opportunity to I don't come here, volunteer, take photos, and watch all of these awesome movies, and I love it.
This 4-night event featured both short and long films, and many of them were entered to compete against others in this festival. Turkish actress Saadet Aksoy says this premiere is a great way for American viewers to have a glimpse of the Turkish cinema.
For American audience who are very much interested in the international cinema and the foreign films, it's a great opportunity to see the films here, I think, and they can have an idea about the Turkish industry right now.
The films featured here were first introduced at the Istanbul Film Festival. Many of the directors wanted to join both the Turkish and American culture in the movie capital of the world. Ahmet Bihik is a director of one of the films called Mama, which is about war in Turkey. He spoke through an interpreter about reaching out to American moviegoers about this issue in his country.
If you have a movie and there is no audience for it, you can't really give a message. So it's important for my movie to reach as many audience from other countries as possible. So that's why I'm really happy right now that also American audience watched it.
Jihan Salam is a director of one of the films called Ember. Through a translator, he communicated that although he did not expect to come to this event, he is glad to be in attendance.
This is my first short film. I mean, I couldn't say, I was expecting or not expecting to be in LA. It's a big honor for me.
As the evening progressed, crowds of people flocked to the event. This is Hannah Townsley in Hollywood, Valley View News.
Legendary stand-up comedian David Brenner has died. The cause of death, according to his family, was cancer. Brenner died peacefully at his home in New York City with his family by his side. He was a favorite of The Tonight Show, where he filled in for Johnny Carson many times. His brand of comedy became a model for other comedians such as Jerry Seinfeld. Brenner was 78 years old. Prince fans can now rejoice. The star has a new album in the works. It has been 4 years since his last album, and he has come out with 2 new songs. The first is called Fall in Love Tonight. It premiered in February on the show A New Girl. He only performed a part of the song with Zooey Deschanel. The whole song can be heard on iHeartRadio. The second song is called Funk and Roll, which he performs with his new group, Third Eye Girl. The album has no release date, but members of the Purple Army can't wait. Now I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Eddie. And thank you guys for watching. I'm Starman Awesome.
And I'm Jennifer Rufer. Have a great week.